Today's show.
James Harden owns the Jazz. The Pacers hit another dry spell. And can we just call the Bucks-Pistons series now?
Channing Frye joins the show to discuss if AD will stay in New Orleans, whether Kyrie is the best one-on-one player, and the state of the Warriors locker room.
And Dame talks to Aquaman in a brand new edition of the Meme Team.
It's Thursday, April 18th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey. I'm Jay Skeets, alongside me as always, Tass Mellis. We got the Aussie, Lee Ellis, and over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Trey, what's up tonight?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag The Starters. And guys, NBA basketball is cool, but you know what's even cooler? Airport tarmac basketball. That's what Ryan Strobel saw going down at St. Louis's Lambert International Airport.
Ooh.
Just a couple of baggage guys playing some hoops. If you're wondering why your bags are late, can't stop playing in the middle of a game of 32, but they got the space. They're cleared for takeoff. Why not shoot around? This brings us to today's question. What's the most random place you've seen a game of basketball? For instance, I once witnessed the worst one-on-one game in history, and it went down on KG's old Area 21 set. Lee Ellis and our producer, Matty O, going head-to-head in jeans, trading bricks and air balls for, I don't know, 15 minutes. You see Skeets was here. Tass left because it took so long. Oh, there's the bucket!
Come on, Austin! Yeah!
A 1-0 win for Matt Austin, who walks off with the Richard Nixon double peace sign salute. Very cool. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter. What's the most random place you've seen a basketball game? Send them to us at hashtag The Starters. We'll hear from you later.
Yeah, that took like 15 minutes, and the score was 1-1.
Yeah,
we just had to call it at some point.
I think Matt was hustling me.
Yeah.
It was like white man can't jump. You know?
Yeah, well, it was white man can't do anything in that game. All right, we got a fun show tonight. Channing Frye is going to swing by the set. We got a brand new edition of the Meme Team. We got a very solid play, but let's start with some true or false. It's the playoffs edition. TK, take it away.
Second verse, same as the first. That's right, game 2 of the Jazz Garden. Harden went as well as game 1, with James Harden going for 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists in the Rockets win. Utah is one of the league's best defensive teams this season. They've tried everything to trim the beard, guys. True or false? James Harden owns the Jazz.
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to, technically, under the CBA.
Right.
You can't be a player and own a team, but absolutely he does right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does he own every team in the NBA right now?
Well, the Jazz made it harder on themselves, though, by implementing this defense where nobody is really buying in all that well. Rubio is just not physical enough with him. Gobert is kind of a non-factor in this series, which is nuts. Maybe a Jay Crowder starting would make a little sense, guarding him and playing the 4, because Derek Favors is shooting threes at least. I know Crowder's not hitting them, but maybe it would make a little sense. I know it feels like it's over because the Jazz, they knew themselves coming into the series, but now they don't. It doesn't look like the Utah Jazz out there that we expected. But for James Harden, this is great. He wants to get this done as soon as possible because as soon as this is over, they likely play the Golden State Warriors. If the Warriors take care of the Clippers, the fresher he is against that Golden State Warriors team, the better for him. It's a nice little bonus, I think, that they're playing in the second round rather than the third round.
Yeah, it might
like
be.
Last year.
He played a near perfect 450 seconds to start this basketball game, this game 2. A somewhat of a must win for the Jazz to try and get back in this series last night. He scored 17 points in that 7.5 minutes. He assisted on another 11 points. He never turned the ball over. He was shimmying on guys that he dropped mid-game. Now, he didn't hit that shot on Rubio, but it was near perfect. And it's wild that he's doing this against one of the better defenses in the league, one of the better defenders. I know he's a smaller guy in Ricky Rubio, though, but no slouch on the defensive end. You got Gobert back there. It's like it'd be one thing if he was doing this against a very poor defensive team. He is just owning this squad. He's either scoring with the step back or inside, or just setting up shooters in Tucker and Gordon, who had another great game.
Yeah, ironically, a guy who actually defended him best for the Jazz last year is not there, Dante Exum.
Yep.
He actually defended him really well, and he's had such a rough season, you sort of forget about him, but he actually defended him okay. But the other thing is, James Harden has not been put under pressure on any point, on the defensive end, on the offensive end. Utah seems so focused on trying to defend him that their offensive game has also let them down as well. They come down, they don't seem to know what they're doing on the offensive end. They at least need to find some way of putting pressure on him. They've only led for like 5 minutes of this entire series, and the Rockets have just stretched it away from them for there. So Quinn Snyder's got a lot of of questions to answer going into Game 3 and 4. Obviously, Game 3 is a must-win here for the Jazz if they're going to get back into it. We've seen them play better. We've seen them do very well against Houston. Now's the time to show it.
Yeah, maybe they'll feel a little bit more comfortable at home. They'll feel like, hey, let's get back to our old selves, because I guess Quinn Snyder misread his team, thinking that they could do this defense that the Bucks tried once, but they should have just been the Jazz.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look back at now and say that, but you talked about the offensive end. Donovan Mitchell doesn't look like Donovan Mitchell at all. We're not talking about him whatsoever. This was supposed to be a Mitchell versus Harden battle in the fourth quarter, but he looks reluctant. He kind of looks like Jamal Murray to me in the Denver Nuggets series. Kind of in between, kind of not feeling when I should rise up and shoot, when I should do my thing, over dribbling a little bit and just off. Donovan Mitchell's too good to be seeing nights like this. So maybe that thin air in Utah will help him out to get back to him.
Somebody on the team needs to hit a corner three, too, because they had a million looks early in that game.
Yeah.
A million good, solid looks from the corner mostly, and no one could hit one. Maybe that happens in
Jay
Utah.
Crowder, get in for Derek Favors. What am I talking about? Who knows?
All right, Trey, next one.
After a 29-16 third quarter, the Pacers had an 11-point lead over the Celtics and an upset on their minds, but then the fourth quarter happened. Indy went broke, shooting 4 of 17 from the field, including a nearly 8-minute scoring drought. To make things worse, they also turned the ball over twice in the final minute while the game was still up for grabs. Guys, true or false, the Pacers beat themselves?
False. I mean, Boston beat them because they clamped down on defense.
Yes, thank you.
And Kyrie Irving closed the game out. This is what Kyrie Irving, the whole season, we've seen a bit of drama with that locker room, and Kyrie's kind of been saying, when we get to the playoffs, I'm the star.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'm
close
playoff Kyrie, don't worry.
And he's shown that last night for sure. And then the team defensively rallied around what wasn't a great offensive time for the Indiana Pacers. But when you have a guy like Kyrie, a closer, who's like, I'm going to do this, he goes out and proves it, and then takes his team to a 2-0 lead, that's just brilliant basketball.
Yeah, I thought the Celtics defense was awesome, especially Al Horford, who was playing through a bit of an illness in this game. But in that fourth quarter, like his help defense, you go back and watch it, it's unbelievable just how many times he's sort of deterring a shot at the rim, blocking Bogdanovich that one time, which led the other way to the Tatum three in the corner. That was big. But it's something else. I mean, I guess they hurt themselves a little bit, the Pacers did, when they were throwing the ball away. And Wesley Matthews, I know it was a 2-for-1 situation there with around 30 seconds ago or so, 35 seconds, like after this play, after the Tatum three. But he just took, like, this is just an atrocious shot with a good 7 or 8 seconds still to go in the shot. That's not good, Tat. I mean,
It ticked down
I know you love
to
Wesley
5.5
Matthews.
seconds.
Yeah,
It was about 5.5.
You can do better than that. And then
I don't
just
know.
throw
The
it away.
Pacers can't do much right now on the offensive end when Boston has clamped down. I'm not buying Boston quite yet as a finals contender because they're clamping down for one quarter.
Yeah.
But they got to clamp down for longer periods of time. And yes, it's working against the Pacers just fine. Kyrie, that was a great show. That's what we're looking forward to here in the postseason with him and Kyrie. And the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. The second round, I know I'm looking ahead here, but if it's Giannis and Kyrie and Kawhi, yeah, I'm buying in on the Raps. And whatever happens with the Philadelphia 76ers, that's
it could be very exciting.
It is very exciting. But yeah, the Sixers are the ones I think that definitely have a chance to lose to the Brooklyn Nets.
But you are right with this series, back to this one with the Pacers Celtics. I mean, for 2 games now, the Pacers have shown that they can hang with the Boston Celtics.
Close.
They can do it for 3/4 of the game. They just unfortunately pick a brutal quarter every once in a while. It was the third quarter in game 1. It was the fourth quarter here where they just have a dry spell. I didn't understand. I mean, they had hit a couple threes in that fourth quarter. Bogdanovich coming off a screen.
Yeah.
And then they got into this weird thing where they were like going ISO Bogdanovich like he was LeBron James 35 feet away from the rim. Like, that's not his game.
Yeah, no, but I guess Nate McMillan's like, you're the only one who we know can go and get your own basket. The other guys need to have it created for them.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be creating his own basket 35 feet out and then go to work. Keep him running him off screens. He was the only one hitting shots, so I just thought that was interesting.
But again, that comes back to Al Horford being able to switch onto a smaller player. I mean, he's an incredibly underrated defender, and that's really what ended the game.
Trey, our final one.
All right, you guys might not believe me when I tell you this, but there is actually another Eastern Conference playoff series going on right now. It's the Bucks versus the Pistons, and after last night's Milwaukee win, Milwaukee has a 2-0 lead on Detroit with no Blake Griffin return in sight. It's just 2 games, but true or false, Bucks Pistons should be simmed to the end. Next round.
I'm gonna say false.
Say true.
No, I'm gonna say false because I have a better idea. Trey, we talked about it in the ride in. Here's what we need to do when we have a lopsided 1-8 series, especially when that 8 seed doesn't have their best player in Blake Griffin. We need to have some sort of like WWE handicap match where the Pistons get a go in game 1 All right, give it a chance. Oh, you got beat by 25-30. All right, the Hornets, you get game 2.
Oh, yeah.
Now you have a go at them. Come on, Kemba, what can you do? Oh, you lost game 2 to the Giannis and the Bucks. All right, Heat, Dwayne Wade, one last dance. Let's see what you can do. Just rotate these teams in at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Make it a lot more exciting, something to talk about.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the Pistons. They have no chance. We talked about it.
Right, but either way, I'm up for watching Giannis Antetokounmpo against any squad. So I say false. Let's play these other 2 games because it did get exciting when Thon Maker's trying to body him up, and he goes Shaq on Thon Maker's face.
And the Pistons were up at the half. I mean,
yeah,
Luke Kennard getting put in the starting lineup was a
I'm
smart
with you here,
move by
Tass.
Casey.
It is better to see Giannis dunk on people than just by himself.
But the Pistons, I don't feel are going to play Blake in this series, no matter what. I just feel like Rod Beard of the Detroit News had an article where it's more than just the pain keeping him out, and I'm reading into it a little bit, but they want to keep him for next season. They're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
They're thinking about his health for long term. So he was in the pregame warm-up. He was working out, but there's no way he's playing.
Yeah.
So, simulate this
I
thing.
say once you're 3-0 up in a best of 7, cancel the series from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
bold, man.
Especially
you want
in
to
the
take
first
away
round.
basketball.
In the first round, come on.
All right.
You know.
Well, you won a best of 5 in the first round.
That's right. Bring it back.
Best of 1.
When we come back, NBA champion Channing Frye is in the building. We'll talk to him next. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
We're back with the Starters, where we're happy to welcome in a man who is rich, a champion,
Man.
retired at 35 and living the great life as Channing Frye.
I'm also a scholar, graduate of the University of Arizona. But yeah, I can do that too.
Appreciate you coming on
No,
the
man,
show.
thank you guys for having me. Man.
I guess things
appreciate
first
it.
things first, with off of that quote that you had, have you played any suckers at one-on-one at LA Fitness yet?
No, my body feels so good from not playing. But when I do get back out there, I'm going to be like a young Iverson.
Ooh,
I'm going to work on my handles in the off season. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to kill.
All right, I love it. Well, we got a lot we want to get to, want to ask you about, so we thought we'd play a little Lock It In.
Yeah,
Here's how
let's
this
lock it
works.
in.
Yeah, very simple. We're going to give you a statement. If you agree with it, you hit the big red button, you lock it in. If you don't agree with it, talk it over, we'll move on. All right. Our first one, they're a team that's talked about a lot. It's the Golden State Warriors, and the last couple of days, though it feels like all season long, people are trying to poke and look for these like little fissures between the team, players, and the coaches and all that. So, do you believe there's trouble in the Warriors locker room? Do you lock that in, or it's a bunch of nothing? It's a bunch of...
I think it's a regular team. I just think they're so media boring. Like, there's not a lot of drama with them. They win, they play the game the right way, and they win some more, and it's boring.
Right.
So, obviously, like, if you're around the same guys 3, 4, 5, 6 years, it just, things are going to happen. You know, they're probably like brothers at this point. You know, they might be tired of, going to the same restaurants with those guys. So, when they go out there and play, they play at the highest level I've ever seen. And regardless of what happens back behind the court, they are fine on the court.
What about the Rockets' chances this year? I mean, cruising right now.
I'm locking that in.
You're locking in.
I'm taking the field this year.
Wow.
Wow.
Taking the field.
Okay. So despite obviously being super talented,
No,
you
I'm
think they
only
could be
saying
taken down?
this. I'm only saying this because I think maybe year 1, maybe year 2, Golden State was 100% better than everyone else. We snuck one in due to injuries, due to the amazing, crazy Super Saiyan level that Braun and Kyrie and everyone played. But now they added KD. But now you look at all these teams that have had 3-4 years to adjust to them, to get used to their system, to get used to their defense, and GMs have now made teams counter them.
Right.
A lot more teams are playing with big men. You see Denver playing with Jokic. You see, Capella being able to guard 1 through 5. So now all these teams, Portland, Denver, Houston, are really in the running for being able to get them.
Taking the field.
I'm taking the
He
field.
locks it in. All right.
Interesting. All right, next topic here. Your former GM in Cleveland, David Griffin, got
Yeah,
hired
yeah.
to run the Pelicans front office. His introductory press conference, he was real confident saying that Anthony Davis, there's a good chance that he could come back next season. Lock it in, he's coming back next year?
Yes.
Anthony Davis in New Orleans.
Yeah. Griff is the most straight shooting GM I've ever had. I talked to him literally today. He is going to make sure that Anthony Davis is surrounded by not only players that can play, but he's going to make that community love him and appreciate him. And he's going to bring that team to the next level. Maybe not next year, but the year after that. And he's going to want to be there because his dialect and communication with Griff is going to be the best it has been because Griff is going to straight shoot you. This is what I can get. Who do you like? What do you need?
Right.
And the relationship that he has with Alvin Gentry is even better.
Yeah, that's what he talked about in his introductory press conference, is that we're going to make an organization that everybody wants to be around. So Anthony Davis and the fans, that can be reconciled, no problem?
Listen, so in Philly, they boo you one day, they love you the next. You will be all right. You win some games, they're going to have Mardi Gras every night down there in New Orleans.
That's interesting you brought up Philly. It's our next question here. We saw Embiid clock Jarrett Allen the other night. Yeah, he got him with the elbow there.
Yeah, somebody should have hit him.
Yeah, well, after the game, we saw them in the press conference. Embiid and Ben Simmons having a good old laugh about it. We've heard since from a few Nets players, not happy about this. So, are the Nets are they right to be upset about this Embiid apology?
No, not now, not in the media. Like if you really felt that bad about it, when you have opportunities in the game to take a hard foul, tell them, hey, watch your elbows. Jarrett Allen has an opportunity to defend himself, right? His reaction is, look, and he just kind of gets up and looks at everybody. You're supposed to get up and defend yourself, right? You don't need to fight, but you need to fight for yourself. And look, Courage is right there. I don't know who else is right there. There's 3 or 4 dudes right there. Nobody's cussing at him. Nobody's going at him. To me, that's kind of a sign of like a veteran team. Wouldn't allow that. Jarrett Allen's been doing everything that's asked of him. If he gets hit in the mouth and is on the ground, you got 4 other dudes that's supposed to fight for you.
Jared Dudley wasn't in that game. He's been pretty vocal, so maybe he'll come out in game
That's
3.
my guy. Oh, yeah. He's going to talk now. Who cares? This is great. This is interesting. You're not supposed to like each other. This league is very buddy-buddy, likey-likey stuff. But now guys have pressure to win games in the playoffs, not just regular season wins. So now all that friendship stuff is going out the window, and I love it.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
I love it. This is great.
Well, something that you likey a lot is doing yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so lock it in. More NBA players should do yoga.
Yeah. Yoga's amazing, man. I have an opportunity to work with Nike Yoga. That's coming out. I do it with Kevin. Yoga changed my life, man. It allowed me to be present, and not only does it have physical health, greatness, benefits, but it helps you just in your mental and being able to focus on the moment and the now.
Next one here. Your former teammate, friend, LeBron James, named once again to Time's 100 most influential people. He's on this list again for the 4th time, I believe. Yeah, he's on there on the cover. We've circled it. I only asked this because he's a good friend of yours.
Right.
You can think of 100 more people more influential than LeBron.
No.
Do you lock it in?
No. This man, I think it's proven fact that like if he plays a song on his Instagram, that song goes like almost platinum automatically. I think his influence not only in education systems, like sneakers, pop culture, Bron's fingers and hands are everywhere. And the people that he's surrounded himself with is, like one day Warren Buffett just walks into our locker room and gives him a hug. And I'm like, no security, no nothing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, hey man, let me borrow $1. But, it's just the people that he holds himself around. And I think it's amazing.
All right, our final one here is a fun one. You know how Game of Thrones ends. Do you lock it in, Channing Frye?
Okay. I'm taking a chance now.
Okay, well, quickly as you can, how do you think this ends?
I forgot that kid's name. Brand, right?
Yeah.
I think he is the one, him and Arya on the Lowski Daddy. Do one of those, and then everyone else gets killed off either by the White Walkers, they win the war, and those 2 are left, and they basically bring everybody together.
Bran and Arya.
Yeah.
There it is.
Hold on, the Lowski Dad, what does that mean?
So they all of a sudden they win the war, or they go to sleep and somebody stabs them, on the sneak.
Oh, okay.
Break it down. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you coming on the Starters. When we come back, we got a brand new edition of the Meme Team. Dame and Adams going at it and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. Every week we scour the internet to bring in the Meme Team, our favorite weird and wacky moments.
At number 5, after Lou Williams' ridiculous 36-point game versus the Warriors in the largest playoff comeback in NBA history, we saw him chowing on concession stand nachos, and the Clippers made some memes of it. Here he is, having those nachos at the Last Supper.
Jesus love nachos.
Nighthawks. See him on the right there? Yeah. Van Gogh, the Night Cafe. He's in a Van Gogh. That's great. And the Scream. Squiggly wiggly.
At number 4, Adam set a tough pick on Lillard this week. They exchanged some words. Now, unfortunately, the two weren't mic'd up, so we didn't know what they were saying. But thankfully, Josiah Johnson, he took a guess at the conversation.
You look like Aquaman.
What you just said?
I said you look like Aquaman.
In fact, I don't look like Aquaman. I look like Khal Drogo. It's the same dude. But Aquaman's a big wet. Khal Drogo got that drip. Now take it back unless you want my fight ASAP Death Rocky.
You look like Aquaman. Feel
I'm
me?
not playing, Damien. I will give you these paws. Now say I look like Khal Drogo.
At number 3, people have said Jazz head coach Quinn Snyder looks like a movie villain in the past, but Mero of the Great Jesus in Mero started a new conversation when he tweeted, Quinn Snyder looks like a tertiary character from Boardwalk Empire. Max responded, Quinn Snyder looks like what cigarettes smell like. Armando replied, he looks like someone who just got bit, about to turn into a zombie. And Mason chimed in, looks like a shifty youth hockey coach. Ooh. Savage!
Man! Number 2, we have known for a while now that Kyrie Irving really loves the 90s TV sitcom Friends. He's got a tattoo and everything, which is why we got the Kyrie 5 soon dropping in a Friends-inspired colorway. The only question remaining, how much would Joey spend on them?
He's gonna help me with these.
Wow! It's like they're on fire!
What are they?
They're these prototype sneakers.
I'll give you $500 for them.
Oh, Joey.
At number 1, NBA players as snacks. Sheila McKiley created a thread starring such snacks as Serge Ibaka. PJ Tucker, well, he's a firecracker popsicle, of course. James Harden is a creamsicle shake. Russell Westbrook is a cupcake. Oh, the KD cupcake, that's good.
Perfect.
Chris Paul, well, he has the meats.
And we had the memes. When we come back, we got very solid play.
4 sandwiches.
"40 games in 40 nights. 40 games in 40 nights. 3 more on tonight. TNT doubleheader, Sixers, Nets, Warriors, Clips, and in between them, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern here on NBA TV, Nuggets and Spurs. All of those series 1-1. All right, we asked you, what's the most random place for a game? You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters. What do you got, Trey?
A lot of really good answers. A lot of people sending pictures of people in the Philippines playing through a flood. Some incredible photos. Also great was when Tony Parker played a basketball game on a glacier. Not sure why that one's not loading, but my favorite answer comes from Jake, who says a basketball game in a skate park?
Oh,
You
yeah.
already know what time it is. Give me that Bieber. This is in a skate
I
park.
never noticed that.
Yeah,
Ever.
so I guess he maybe hits this layup and then goes and busts a sweet ollie or something like that. I don't know.
All right. Lily, VSP.
Yeah, we're going to Boston, but it's one from the Indiana Pacers. This is when their offense looked all right in the first quarter here. Beautiful ball movement here. DeMontis finds Dougie cutting back door for a beautiful layup. That's what I call a very solid play.
Solid stuff. Tomorrow we got the Drop Podcast. We'll be back here at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to Channing Frye.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, NBA Game Time Live coming up.
Race of the night, people.